Good day to you. Today we want to examine the anatomy of the Argalaya, or the struggle that had gone on for some time in Colombo's most well-known spot, which is called the Golf Face, where all the hotel area is. There have been roughly 5 kinds of reactions to this upheaval or uprising, mainly comprising the 25-year generation, and one reaction has been that people came and supported it, well-known artists came and supported it. So supportive were those who supported it and felt that such a protest movement was necessary and timely. Second response was political parties trying to gain capital from it. Third response was from people who were probably pro-government and opposed such a protest. The fourth kind might have been those who said these things come and go. Fifth kind would be me kind of people. We want to learn why they did it and what are the solutions that should be offered. So Argalaya in the single language means struggle. So I am conceptualizing that it should now become Argalaya to Apekshava, meaning struggle to hope. So here is a little sociological anatomy of pathogenesis, using some medical terms. I am Dr. Lalith Mendis. Point number 1, nations are now 7 to 75 years old post-independence since the sunset on the British Empire. So that's the new beginning of nations, so to say, since colonialism, after the Portuguese, Dutch, French and Spanish, Spain and all that. Sri Lanka had only Portuguese, Dutch and British, and in 1948 we had independence. So it is the 4th generation. Point number 2, there is the 4th generation, that is since independence brought new nations. Now these are old nations which had feudal systems, went through the Industrial Revolution under the colonial power. Now they have ended up with a 4th generation. So the baby boomers were very involved in the political restructural adjustments from colonial times to early independence and well away into 60s and 70s. So they became sort of fathers of the nation and had prominent roles. Then came the X generation, who were captains of the economic boom and the consumerist extravaganza that continued till world's resources were denuded. And then the Y generation that took part in the IT revolution. So this is the 4th generation. Some of them are Z, I-gens, IY, so it's a mixed group, maybe from 18 to 28. So they are the ones who acutely felt that they had no future. What we must not forget is all over the world there has been a woke culture protesting about slavery, protesting about famous fathers, political fathers or economic fathers in the West whose statues were brought down because they had a hand in slavery or whatever it is. They who became great for contribution to the nations during a different set of historic values came under the scrutiny of woke and cancel culture. So Sri Lanka had its own expression about a decade later this year. So point number 3, this generation that is in the struggle they faced a world denuded of economic resources because so much of natural ecological resources had been ravaged very quickly during the 40 years of no holds barred consumerism. Point number 4, this struggle generation was also the generation that had least attention from mom or dad and had the screen as the nanny. In history, they would be the generation that received least bonding time from parents or from nuclear family. So the quickness or the thrill, peril, fright, fight, flight character attributes of the screen, the screen generation, what the screen does, definitely affected them, influenced them. Point number 5, they face the dismantling of securing identities such as the family, marriage institution, sexuality. They went through the, the philosophies of transgender, homosexuality. So the things that the Good Shepherd had given to make human society safe, secured, giving each one an identity and a belonging, were quite disannulled or dysfunctional when they became 18. A stable school got affected, and many people would leave school after 11 years. We would go through school for 14 years, and those last 2 years when you become school prefects and take responsibility, loyal to your alma mater, learn citizenship, was short-circuited because many went through, many began to shift to degree level program just after 10 years of schooling, which we often discourage. We feel kids should go through what we call O level and A level and contribute to school life and learn to become citizens with responsibility. So this generation who became 18 this year were also facing instability in school life, instability in nation, and they faced up to the challenge of multiculturalism, woke culture, and cancel culture. 6th point, their immediate seniors had much opportunity to seek greener pastures in affluent countries, whereas they are pressed to do something somehow. They are not sure if they get into universities whether they will have any meaningful employment available in a dwindling economy. Of course, the economy is dwindled world over, but in Sri Lanka, a peculiar set of mismanagement also drastically contributed to the chaos and pathetic situation our nation is in. So their chance of going abroad, seeking greener pastures, has become hazardous. Many are going, but those who are 10 years older to them had many opportunities provided for them to go abroad to more affluent countries. We don't encourage that culture. However, I'm giving the sociology. Point number 7, they suffered the worst from globally driven crony capitalism and neoliberal socialism, where global dinosaurs are all the time plotting how to swallow up national economies with the help of corrupt local politicians and a corrupt corporate. So they want to get all the resources of the nations into their hands. So it was recently reported that 538 world's most rich people, the wealthiest, own equal amount of resources to the rest of the world. So you can see the disparity that the consumerist boom has created. Point number 8, this generation that is in the struggle, they feel their time is short. There are no trustable seniors. Resources are perilously shrunk, they feel. So they feel they have to do something quickly and find solutions. Of course, they are at the point not finding solution. They are still at the level of protesting at what has gone wrong. So from there, I want to move to another topic that closely parallels this topic. How did the family life contribute to this, and the solutions that are available in family bonding for the problem. So I call this section marriage marination, getting ready, first years, midlife, golden years. So we work with the Good Shepherd, who has given green pastures to everyone, who has given fountains to everyone to earn from and for prosperity. That he is the Good Shepherd. If we work with him, we will have not want. And then he restores our life which has run down, and he leads us in, he gives us paths of righteousness so that we don't get into pitfalls and boulders and stuff like that, and we can help others. And even if we have to go through a valley of disappointing experiences or economic recession, he promises that his rod and staff will comfort us, and that he allocates, apportions a cup for my life, and it said it's a cup that will overflow, and he apportions a table for how much of life portion I'll have, whether my planning capacity, entrepreneurial capacity can feed only my family or provide livelihood for 1,000 people in a manufacturing factory kind of thing. So that's how life goes on with the Good Shepherd. Some are able this much, some are able that much, even to provide livelihood for 1,000. And then the associates I will have, my place in life, my position, people I have to associate. That's part of the table. The Good Shepherd assigns. So what should we need to do? Get to know him, invite him into our life and ask him to help us with his wisdom with which he designed a man to live. So in the marriage marination thing, here is what I consider. Point number 1, at each meeting time be fully present when you are considering marriage and a partner, and not be preoccupied with your last grand feat. If your head is always in what you are doing, you will not match and meet together. Point number 2, some people don't seem to plan something, they seem to plan something else while talking to the wife, for instance. Then marriage is so only if it's your most important business. If you can't make marriage your most important business, you will have trouble in marriage. Point number 3, always plan to give more than you receive. That's a life principle, and it's a solution to a generation in struggle. Plan to give more than you receive. Give from your strength and receive into your weakness. So before marriage, make a checklist and agree what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, so there's mutual compatibility in that her strength will supply your weakness and vice versa. Point number 4, in the human body, each organ functions to capacitate the other organ to maximum. For instance, the right ventricle pumps blood through the lung, and lung is ready to oxygenate the blood for the whole body. So in marriage also, one husband, for instance, functions for the best of the wife and vice versa. Point number 5, self-sabotage is factors that work in you to disprove you. A fifth columnist in you, saying the right thing at the wrong time. So where do these sabotage factors come from? Father's side, mother's side, the bad things repeating, and you seem not to be able to contain it. Be aware of this, address it in a proper way. So that is self-sabotage, that you are always doing something the same old and expecting a different result. Sixthly, expectation of good reward in relationships provides for character based on executive empathic planning. Initiate, navigate for good reward. So our expectation is a good reward. Opposite is point number 7, expectation of the last bad thing to repeat. It's a deja vu kind of bad thing. It shifts you to bottom-up amygdala hippocampus behavior. You're always expecting things to go bad, and you're prophesying, predicting, whatever you do, it's not going to come right kind of thing. You can do it for yourself, you can do it for your spouse or to your child. So point number 8, this tendency drives you to anti-reward behavior, setting a trap for your spouse or child to prove the point she always gets it wrong. In the process, you also may be having a recurrent pattern of failure. So let's address that also. Point number 8 and point number 9, your mouth pronounces curses, negative comments, put down, hurtful banter, bad comparisons, and so the other person feels any time that the twain meet, you'll always have a bad omen, kind of bad prophecy, bad face, bad mood, bad word. Yes. Point number 10, nothing requires more sacrifice than the physical relationship or marriage. Giving the best to the other rather than grabbing your right to satisfy your drive. So these are some parallel points in marriage. We started the conversation about the struggle generation. I hope this will help you. I have many clips on these lines. I'm Dr. Lalith Mendis. Please send a WhatsApp number to 0763134800. My last substantive post was as head of Department of Pharmacology in the State Medical Faculty. So my current research subject is the digital screen and the effect on character curriculum and so on. So many clips are available to help you shape up your life, your children's life, and any friend's life also. So let's hear from you. And my app is Golden Nuggets. It's available for downloading from App Store and from Google. Thank you for listening. We'll meet again. Thank you.